Hi, I'm Kesra, and today I wanted to give you a short tutorial on ways you can make smooth hot glue lines without burning your fingers. Hot glue is one of the greatest resources that we as cosplayers have, but the problem is it can be kind of dangerous if you don't use it properly. I know I myself have many scars from times when I'd put my hand in hot glue when I really shouldn't have. This method will help you smooth down lines of hot glue without having those unsightly bumps and without losing any of your fingerprints. These are the materials you're going to need: a hot glue gun, a roll of Reynolds Wrap parchment paper. You can find this at most grocery stores. It's used to keep food from sticking from pans when baking. I usually just use a small square of it like this. An X-Acto knife. Any blade will do, but make sure it's sharp. And of course, extra glue sticks. This can use a lot of glue if you're not careful. Hot glue is an amazing cosplay resource, but often when you use it, you find yourself with a very inconsistent and lumpy line. Now, if this is for the underside of armor or something, then it's not that big of a deal because no one sees it. However, there are times when you need to put it on the surface. Even if it will be covered, you need to have a relatively smooth surface that can be evened out, and it can be dangerous to try to carve away at this with just an X-Acto knife. So what I do is I take my parchment paper and I place it over the line of glue. Be sure to put it on there fast after applying it, not slow like I just did, and give it an even pressure all along the area glued. The key to this is to wait a few seconds until you're sure the glue is dried. Otherwise, it's going to stick to the parchment paper. It gets easier to gauge this as time goes on. Once you're pretty sure it's cool, simply gently peel the edge of the parchment paper up. And what you have is a smooth line of hot glue. What we have here is the craft foam armor base I've made for my Azula Season 3 cosplay. As you can see, there are darts to make it curve the way I need it to, but there's a minor crack here, so that needs to be filled in before I try to cover it with leather. So, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and put a thin line of glue in the crack. It's better to use too little because then you're going to have a lot more freedom to correct your mistake. If you use too much, you're going to have to carve it away, but I can always add more. Also note that I've used an additional piece of parchment paper to protect the form I put underneath. Now, I'm going to put my fingers underneath to make sure I get a nice, solid grip. Feels like it's cool enough. I'm going to very gently peel it back. So what I've got here now is a hot glue joint. A benefit to this, along with smoothing out the crack, is it creates these edges that go over the craft foam. I feel like that helps reinforce the craft foam itself. Now you're going to see right here a bit of a rough patch where I'd pulled away the masking tape and had taken some of the craft foam with it. So I'm going to do a quick repair on that as well by putting a little dab of hot glue. And then once more I'm going to take my parchment paper and put it over the area and just try to smooth it out with my fingers. Try not to alter the shape of the craft foam too much because it is applying heat to it. Very gently peel it back, and there we've got a smooth surface. After I coat this in a few layers of Mod Podge, it's going to be ready for me to add the PVC that I bought to cover it.